Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is week 2 of summer prep. We are doing Wednesday's workout, which is an upper body and core workout. And the idea of this video is that you can pause and do your reps and then do the next exercise. So here we go. We've got standing hip car. Ideally, you have something to hold on to. And you're going to squeeze your knee, the muscles behind your knee, squeeze your heel to your butt, and you're going for a big, large circle for about 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And the name of this game is to stand up tall, keep your belly button pointing forward, and go nice and slow, especially on that outer position. That's usually the hardest position for most people, and then go the opposite direction. So we're just waking up tissues deep in that hip socket, and waking up some core stability stuff and some standing leg stability. And then of course we'll do the other side. So you can pause and do the other side. 30 to 60 seconds each side. We have an overhead opener. I'm going to use my air conditioner for this. So you're going to have a wall or a bench or something stable that you can put your hands on, and then reach the hips back, step the feet back, and get a big overhead stretch. Since part of today's workout is overhead press, we want to warm up the shoulders and warm up that range of motion with arms overhead. So you can breathe here, and if you want to, you can play with a little bit of rib movement with your breath. You can inhale and fill up the back ribs, and then exhale, let it sink down. Inhale, fill up the ribs. Exhale to sink. Good, do that for time. Getting a big long stretch along this underside of the armpit region. I'm going to go into some band pull-aparts for the back side of the shoulder and a little bit of grip. So you can do underhand grip or overhand. Today I'm going to go for underhand grip. You might hear this referred to as no money grip. I don't know why. Maybe it's like, I ain't got no money. And then you hold the band like that, I guess. So you're pulling the band apart and you're feeling into the deep shoulders. You're feeling into some, maybe some traps, some upper back muscles, mid-back muscles, depending on how strong of a resistance you've got working. Also getting a little grip, warmth. And you can change directions with this. You can go down low, you can go up high, you can go side. And we're doing that for time. 10 to 20 reps. Great. Okay. And do that 2 times. So do that, and then we're going to do some wrists, so some wrist circles for time. The idea with, so I had a good question. This person asked, how long should I be waiting before I do another round of the exercise? Ideally, the exercise is challenging enough that you need some time after to recover. If you don't need any time to recover after, that means that we're not challenging things enough, and so we need to amp up the game. Oof. Change directions with your wrist circles. Oh, I'm noticing my wrist is feeling a little funny today. It feels kind of different. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go down a whole road of thought, imagining what it might be or going into the worst possible scenarios. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to notice, oh, it's different. Where is it different? What ranges of motion? Is it different when I do this versus that? Versus open palm versus closed palm, right? So I want you to have an investigative approach to your body as you're working through exercise, because there's going to be sensations and pains that come up, and it doesn't mean that we just go hard or go home. We stay in tuned. We adjust. Sometimes we do have to push through sensation. That's why we have this, I have this framework with sensation. If the sensation is tolerable, we keep going. If the sensation doesn't affect your breathing, we keep going. If the sensation doesn't change your form a whole lot, we keep going. Okay, so there will be sensations through exercise, but use that framework. Okay, we're going to get into some side planks. 2 rounds of this, 5 to 10 side plank rotation. So you can either hold a side plank, or you can rotate. Do whichever one is more challenging. If ever you ask me, which weight should I pick up, or which variation should I do, I will probably say, whichever one feels more challenging. Okay, so 2 rounds of that. And then we got some bench push-ups. So bench push-ups, some people loved it last time. They said it was very accessible. That's great. I love that you are able to access the exercise and do the full range of motion down and up. That's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. If you don't have room to do it on a bench or anything like that, then I want you to do it on the floor. So bench push-ups, right? We've got hands on an elevated surface. We go down and then we drive up. 6 to 10. And we do that 2 to 3 times. Or you do negative push-ups. So you slowly lower down, and then you reset. Notice I'm using my knees to get back up. Slow lower, and then I use my knees. I push back, and I reset. Okay? When you finish your set, you give yourself time to recover. If you don't need time to recover, I want you to do a more challenging version, or go slower, or add a few more reps, or add some weight, or a heavier band, something like that. And you just wait until your heartbeat recovers. You wait until you don't feel like, usually it's 30 seconds to a minute, no more than 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minute wait after a set is more for like big heavy lifts where we're really working max strength. So generally for us, we will probably need about 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes of rest between effort. All right. Bench push-ups. I don't have a good bench. But I'm demoing the negative part. So we're using hands wider than shoulders, strong core, and we gaze a little bit forward. Oftentimes when I see people doing push-ups that haven't done it in a while, they're doing push-ups with their head, like this. I want your chest to lower down and your elbows to bend and your gaze to be a little forward. You can do these on the bench, nice and slow in the lower down, and then reset. Gaze a little forward, spreading your palms, spreading the fingers, and elbows bend. These are called eccentrics. If you're playing with that variation, eccentrics. You're strengthening the connection between your brain and your muscles through a stretched position as you work through gravity. All right, next up we've got, seated overhead press. So our knuckles are going to reach up to the ceiling, and the arms are going to try and work back by the ears. I have done some front squats already today, so my shoulders feel a little tired, but we'll see. So I'm going to see what 20 pounds is like. Seated overhead press. This is good for core trunk stability. So body weight, you're going to hold the weights at the shoulders and you're going to push those puppies up. So we're pushing up and we're also thinking about the arms coming back behind the ears. From the side, it can look like this. Okay, and we're managing weight in the trunk. So you're going to grab some weights. We've got 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps here. You're choosing weights. Ooh, these are going to be heavy. Let's see. Okay. That's 3, 4. I'm having to focus. 5. 6. 7. Big breath. I have to really gather myself for this last rep because it's challenging. Big breath. Good. All right, now you're gonna, let's see, now you're gonna do C2, which is the deadlifts. You're gonna go right into C2. When we have back-to-back exercises like that, they're designed so you will use a different part of your body. Generally, sometimes they're designed to be a burnout, so it's a lot, but this one is a different part of the body. So we got deadlifts, hips reach back, we're pushing through the middle of the foot. It's okay to use kettlebells or dumbbells or barbells. Dumbbells, you're going to put them in front of the shins, hips reach back. I immediately notice that this is not challenging. I could do like 30 of these. So that's not going to give me any strength or any adaptation other than endurance in general. So I'm going to grab some kettlebells. I have 2 different sizes. I'm going to put them in the sides. Hips reach back, pushing through the feet, squeezing in the armpits. Ooh, better. Hips back, push through the feet. Will you feel sensation in your low back when you deadlift? Maybe. Is that bad? Nope. We use our low back to deadlift. Deadlift is about the whole entire backside of your body. Okay. So that was 1 set. Now you're going to rest until you catch your breath. About a minute, maybe 2 minutes max. And then you're going to get into your second set of this sequence, this little mini sequence or superset. And you're going to do the overhead press again and the deadlifts again. Ooh. Now I use 2 different weights for my deadlift, so I'm going to switch sides for that next deadlift. I'm going to have the heavier weight on my opposite hand. Making it work with what we've got. So do 2 or 3 more sets of that again. Overhead press and then right into your deadlifts. You can take like a 10 to 15 second rest between, sure, if you need that, great, do it. 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever you need. And then you do your deadlifts and then you rest for a minute or 2 minutes, catch your breath, give your muscles a chance to recover, and then go in and do your second or third set, okay? Now we're gonna do our core work. Active hollow hold. We're repeating this from last week, and I'm giving you some alternate core options because we had some feelings. We had some feelings about the active core hold. And others had questions. So this is held for time, 25 seconds. You can have your feet grounded and just work to hold some engagement through your trunk, heads and shoulders up, maybe arms up. You can work with bent knees, feet off the floor. Make it accessible, but make it doable, make it challenging. Maybe arms overhead. Ooh, business, all right? Less business, more business. Notice your thoughts. Notice your relationship to challenge. Now I have some questions that come up about low back. There are ideas about, should I flatten my low back or have my low back arch? Do I need to protect my low back? Your low back is strong and resilient as fuck, okay? So your low back needs to be able to do a bunch of different stuff. It needs to be able to move. It needs to be able to be resilient, and you get to choose ultimately. All right, so for me, I feel good in my body right now if I've got a little space there. I'm not smashing my low back into the ground. I've got some space because that feels doable. I'm not even really thinking about it. It's just happening. All right. Building up some belly muscles. So experiment there. Permission to move with your low back, especially in core stuff. Okay, we don't have to be protective. Those are strong, huge bones down there. Alternate core options. We've got standing core rotation with a handle. If you're at a gym, you're going to use a cable column. If you have a long resistance band that you can attach to a doorway, you're going to do some standing rotation. I don't have one, but I will mimic for you. So you're keeping your arms straight. You're holding on to that resistance object. It's grounded somewhere, about shoulder height or mid height or hip height, and then you're pulling it away, feeling your trunk, and then you're slowly returning. Pulling away, slowly returning. What about your knees? What about your hips? You can play around with some heel lift. You can play around with some knee softness. That's fine. Let's see. And then if none of those, if you don't like active hollow hold, if you don't have gym access, if you don't have band access at home for standing core work, then you can try some side bends. Grab a heavy weight, put it on one side, stand tall, side bend, maybe hip shift out for a bigger stretch, and then come upright. Hip shift, come upright. All right, so those are some alternatives for your core work for today, for those obliques and all that other stuff that's in there. And then we had a wrist extension cool down. Oh yeah, so if you want to, since we got some upper body focus today, if you have wrists that need a little bit of attention, then you're going to do a few different things. This isn't in the video exactly, but you're going to dangle your hands off of a surface, countertop, chair, could be even your legs like crisscross, sitting down. Hold weights, and then you're going to curl them up. So we're getting some work into our forearm muscles. We can do it this way, with palms towards the ceiling, and you could do it pronated, which is palms facing down. It's a different move, different sensations. You can do one at a time, you can do both. You could even try some rotations into those forearms. Ooh, I'm gonna show you a cool fancy tool that I love using. This was one of my, this was a pandemic purchase. It's called a wrist axe. And it's basically like a really short broomstick that you can put a weight plate on, and then you can do weighted forearm moves, which I should probably do for my wrist stuff. This is too heavy. Notice how I have to use my alternate hand to guide the weight in that end range of motion out there, but that's still working. I still feel work happening in that wrist and forearm and elbow. If you hold plates a lot during the day, if you do a lot of cooking and chopping, or if you're on the computer a lot, this is pretty handy. This is not in the program, by the way. I'm just showing you this fun new tool because I love gear. I love fitness gear. I love camping gear. So if you ever want to talk gear, I'm your gal. Let's chit chat. All right, so that is the workout for today. And good, let me know if you have any other questions. Upper body, oh, it was upper body and glutes hams, yeah. So we got into those glutes with our deadlifts, and then we added on some core stuff. All right, questions, comments, feedback, let me know in the WhatsApp chat, and good luck. Get those muscles. Besos.